Showing on this episode of Law Weekly, the charge by the chairman body of benchers, Justice Mary Peter Odili, as the body admits over 1,000 new wigs to the legal profession. Also showing on the program, the Lagos Mobile Court reiterates its zero tolerance for driving against traffic and other traffic offences, plus our recap of the top legal stories in the news. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Shola Sheli. We begin in Abuja, where the body of benchers on Tuesday, October 10, admitted new lawyers into the legal profession. The ceremony commenced with the arrival of the body of benchers led by its chairman, Justice Mary Peter Odili. Those in attendance included the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, past justices of the Supreme Court, the Attorney General of the Federation, the President of the Nigerian Bar Association, or the senior advocates of Nigeria, or the legal practitioners, and the parents and relatives of the new wigs.
I hereby admit each and every one of the 1,095 applicants herein present severally to the bar as barristers and solicitors. You may now put on your wig.
And with these words, the chairman of the body of benchers, Justice Mary Peter Odili, admits the latest wigs into the legal profession. In her charge to the new wigs, Justice Odili spoke about the need to provide life-changing services, especially for the less privileged, to act with integrity and to adhere strictly to the rules of professional conduct.
My brand new learned friends, your role as legal practitioners is firstly about service. It has been said that service is not the domain of rare individuals. It is not confined to a single part or time of ourselves. We simply heed the call of that caring impulse within and follow where it leads, unquote. Ram Dass and Paul Gorman, in parentheses. As lawyers, you are uniquely positioned to provide not just random acts of service, but world-changing, life-changing, and even view-shaping service. You have the capacity to change the world, whether you decide to go to private practice, government service, to put up a business, or whatever your heart leads you to. Your law degrees and call to bar certificates are not just pieces of documents you may hang on the wall or boast with to others. These are credentials that you may wield as your sword to fight against injustice, to fight for what is right, and for those who cannot fend for their own rights. These are shields that you can raise up to protect the innocent and uphold the rule of law. I was privileged to be called to bar 46 years ago. That places me in the position of an ancestor. I can confidently state that I have seen the good and bad times in the course of my journey, both at the bar and the bench. Nothing pays more than honesty, diligence, perseverance, love for humanity, and above all, prayers. Whatever you decide to apply your talent as a lawyer, you will be required to act with utmost professionalism and wisdom. As your legal advice, your professional actions, and even your inactions affect the very lives of your clients and maybe the society at large. Ethics and ethos of the legal profession. In your service as a legal practitioner, you must not forget to put into practice the ethical and moral obligations of a lawyer that has been imbibed in you during your training. In this highly competitive era, as lawyers, remember that it is essential to be civil and ethical. This means acting civilly and ethically with clients in the courtroom, in the bar, and with others in your office. I urge you, as a matter of urgency, to acquaint yourselves with the rules of professional conduct for legal practitioners, as you must adhere strictly to the stipulated rules at all times. Let me remind you that the body of benchers, in addition to having the powers to admit you to the legal profession, also has the power through its legal practitioners disciplinary committee to discipline you whenever you are in breach of the rules or conduct yourself in a manner incompatible with the status of a legal practitioner, such that could bring the profession to disrepute. The legal profession is ours to cherish and protect. We must live above board, as the public expects no less. When the public repeatedly see the justice system fail, the people's confidence in the law will decline. Therefore, if you see the system failing, propose changes in the laws or changes in the rules. You have the skills, training, and ability to make a difference, to have an impact as good stewards of justice. Flee from acts or conducts that have the slightest tendency of creating chaos or anarchy.
She also admonished the new weeks to respect their elders and seek to be mentored.
I recommend you all to take advantage of the laudable mentoring program of the body of benchers for all young lawyers, 0 to 7 years, just like you today, and for those who are up to 7 years, which is ongoing, and participate thereof. Respect for seniors. In our noble profession, respect for seniors is a cherished culture which we hold in high esteem. You must therefore imbibe this culture of respect for your seniors and the courts as well. This respect, which you owe as a duty, should also be extended to your mates and junior colleagues. Seniority at the bar is an age-long tradition. Do not get agitated, therefore, when a member of the inner bar or a senior calls his or her case out of turn in court. Remember that whatever respect you accord to a senior today will be accorded to you subsequently by a junior. Dress code. The legal profession is a conservative and regulated profession, and the approved dress code for legal practitioners is one of the unique attributes of this noble profession. Your appearance today is not just for this ceremony, but for the rest of your days as legal practitioners, and you must strictly adhere to the dress code. A good lawyer should not just abide to the dress code, but must be properly and decently dressed at all times. After all, as the saying goes, looking good is good business. Use of social media. One cannot deny the many gains attendant to the advent of the social media, and members of the legal profession are not left out of the benefits of this innovation. However, owing to some recent negative use of the social media by the general public, including some lawyers, it has become expedient that I use this platform to urge you to positively harness this technology and many others, and endeavor to refrain from negative use, which may bring you and the legal profession to dishonor. To be a successful lawyer, you must constantly enrich yourself with statutes, case laws, and continuously update your knowledge of legal opinions. You must also actively participate in the numerous beneficial activities of the Nigerian Bar Association, which is the umbrella body for all legal practitioners in Nigeria. On behalf of the body of benchers, which is the highest body with distinction in the legal profession, I once again congratulate you and welcome you to the noble legal profession. You have accomplished what you have set to achieve. You have done it.
Away from the call to bar ceremony, the Lagos State government, through the Special Offences Mobile Court, has reiterated its zero tolerance for violation of traffic offences. At an awareness and sensitization exercise held on Thursday, October 12, the coordinator of Special Offences Mobile Court, Mrs. Ariola Ogbarabanjoko, warned recalcitrant motorists fond of violating traffic laws of the state to desist or be ready to face the consequences of their actions under the law.
We'll send you back to your village. It is mobile court again. In the year 2023, Lagos City no dey play, Echo no dey play, Tax Force no dey play, mobile court no dey play. We're practicing today.
The coordinator of the mobile court led her team out of their office in the Oshodi area of Lagos mainland to the streets. They drove through various streets educating road users on the need to know the state's traffic laws and to obey them.
I will give you the room to disobey Lagos. Stop doing illegal parking. You where they park your car for illegal spots. After this sanitization, if I come back, you will regret.
The team also approached different drivers, from private vehicle owners to commercial bus drivers and members of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, spreading the message of zero tolerance for driving against one way, using the designated BRT corridors, obstructing traffic, and other traffic offences. After speaking with the drivers and passengers, they handed out flyers and even gifts as a way of reinforcing their messages. In an interview with journalists, the coordinator of the mobile court, Ariola Ogbarabanjoko, expresses optimism that this awareness exercise will go a long way in eradicating traffic offences, while the Attorney General of Lagos, who was represented at the exercise by the Director of Public Prosecutions, Dr. Babajide Martins, lauded the sensitization exercise and urged Lagosians to partner with the government to realize the laudable objectives of the event.
Is now zero tolerance for one way, zero tolerance for BRT and obstruction in all traffic matters. You know, the governor wants this stopped, and we need to let the public know that this is no, you know, to this. And because, you know, the offense, when committed, the judgment for it is forfeiture. So we need to let the public know this, you know, on a continuous basis. Because one way, one supply, one way, it's very dangerous. We've seen this happen severally, whereby, like, you know, people have been killed, people have been injured because, like, you know, the vehicle is going the other way. Those walking don't look back, you know, to maybe notice that there's another vehicle coming and all that, you know. So that is why that particular offense is forfeiture one way. Yes, for BRT, you know, they can give fine. For obstruction, yes, they can give fine.
In line with the team's agenda of the present administration and in fulfilling the promise of traffic management and transportation, the mobile court has deemed it necessary to sensitize members of the public on zero tolerance for violation of traffic offenses such as driving in a direction prohibited by law, also known as one way, plying designated BRT corridor, obstruction of vehicular movement on the highway, among others. These offenses are street liability offenses and they are punishable under Transport Sector Law of Lagos State 2018. In view of the foregoing, we urge members of public to ensure compliance with all traffic rules and regulation. The road users are enjoined to partner with the state government towards overcoming traffic challenges, urging them not to stand aloof but play their role to ensure free flow of traffic on the highway.
Thanks for staying tuned. Judgment has finally come, and many believe that justice has been served in last year's Christmas Day murder of Lagos lawyer Bolanle Raheem. The Lagos State High Court, sitting at the Tafawa Balewa Square on Lagos Island, convicted and sentenced to death by hanging a suspended Assistant Superintendent of Police, ASP Drambi Vandi, for the murder. Justice Ibironke Harrison held that the prosecution, the Lagos State government, had proven the case against the convict beyond reasonable doubt. The suspended ASP Drambi Vandi was arraigned before the court on January 16, 2023, 3 weeks after he allegedly shot to death a 41-year-old pregnant lawyer, Bolanle Raheem. He faced a one-count charge of murder, contrary to Section 223 of the Criminal Law of Lagos State 2015. The prosecution, the Lagos State government, called a total of 11 witnesses in proof of its case against the defendant. The witnesses include the husband and sister of the deceased, police officers who were at the scene of the incident, and those who investigated the alleged offense, the armorer, and even the ballistician. The defendant testified as the sole witness in his own defense. In denying the offense, the defendant told the court that the loud gunshot purportedly heard by eyewitnesses was that of a firecracker. Vandi also claimed that the bullet which killed the late Bolanle Raheem did not come from the rifle he carried on the day of the incident. In fact, he claimed that he had never seen the bullet until it was tendered in court. But Justice Ibironke Harrison held that he did not give any explanation of how the firecracker killed the deceased. Neither did he give any other explanation for her death. The court also said that it believed the evidence of the pathologist that the late Bolanle was shot from the right side at close range, and when combined with the evidence of the ballistician, yielded surplus information leading to the conclusion that the defendant was the only armed person who had the opportunity to shoot from the right side, and which shot resulted in her death. The court also took into account the testimony of the family members who immediately ran towards the defendant, and especially the clear evidence of the late Bolanle's sister, who had immediately gone to hold the defendant by the shirt and identified him as the shooter, as well as the statements of eyewitnesses who pointed at the defendant and labeled him the shooter. In the final analysis, the court found it strange that the defendant made no attempt to contact his colleagues after the incident, but instead fled and proceeded to hide inside a minibus until he was dragged out. The court found the defendant guilty and sentenced him to death by hanging.
We hope it will bring a closure for the family of late Mrs. Bolanle Raheem, and we thank the government headed by Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu for providing the enabling environment for being able to see this prosecution through. Well, when you have a judgment in a lower court, there's opportunity for you. This is not the final stage. It's just like a football competition. There's the primaries, there's the quarterfinals, there's the semi, and there's the final. So when we read the judgment, we know what step. You would also hear when she said, when I asked for a copy of the judgment, and my Lord said she knows we want to move forward.
Do you have any regrets taking on this case?
I don't. The Spirit of the Lord directed me, and I know He didn't direct me. I did it on pro bono. All of us must not just cast aspersion because we have one bad egg and believe all of them are bad. Let's give it an opportunity.
We believe that this is a step to cushion the effect on the family members, because at the end of the day, it cannot replace the loved one, but it is a step in the right direction because justice has been served, justice has been ensured, and every person knows that if you commit a crime, there is a consequential result, which is the punishment towards that crime.
The leadership of the Nigerian Bar Association also applauded the judgment and used the opportunity to draw attention to other pending cases.
You will recall that in the beginning of all of this, the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Yakubu Chinoko Mekiao, SAN, had mentioned the fact that the NBA was going to follow this matter till the end. That is exactly what we have done. We followed it from the beginning, the day it happened, until the day justice was served. The truth about it is that our colleague will not come back to life again. God rest her soul. But at least we are happy that a precedent has been set. People will be more careful, and abuse of office will reduce by virtue of this judgment.
Justice delayed, we know, is justice denied. And in this case, justice has not been delayed, justice has not been denied, justice has been done. We're also calling on the Ministry of Justice to consider the Gafaros case, which is also a mandate of this subcommittee to ensure that justice is done. It has to be dealt with expeditiously. There has been delays and storytelling in respect of the Gafaros case, and we want that done as well. The Nigerian Bar Association is an organization that furthers, promotes, and strengthens justice for every citizen of this country, and not only for lawyers.
Just as he restated his commitment to getting justice for Gafaru Raheem, who was also allegedly shot dead by an officer from the same police station as Vambi Drambi, the NBA says it will monitor any appeal on Drambi's judgment. And just before we go, let's quickly do a recap of some of the top trending stories from the courtrooms.
We begin with the report that the President, Bola Tinubu, has asked the Supreme Court to dismiss the appeal filed by Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and the People's Democratic Party challenging his victory at the 2023 presidential election. President Tinubu described the appeal as abusive and moved for its dismissal. The President insists that the PDP presidential candidate and the party failed to prove all their allegations and submissions at the tribunal. He submits that the tribunal was correct in arriving at its verdict and affirming his election. He urged the Apex Court to affirm the decision of the lower court while dismissing the appeal in its entirety as same as lacking in merit and bona fide. Alhaji Abubakar and the PDP are challenging the September 6 judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. They filed their appeal before the Apex Court on September the 18th. In the 35 grounds notice of appeal, the appellant submits that the tribunal's findings were done with grave errors and gross misrepresentation, which resulted in a miscarriage of justice. They therefore ask the Supreme Court to set aside the entire findings and conclusions of the tribunal. In a similar vein, the governorship candidate of the Labour Party in Lagos State, Gbadebo Rhodesviver, has filed his notice of appeal before the Court of Appeal Lagos, challenging the decision of the State Governorship Tribunal, which upheld the return of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. The notice of appeal, which was settled by one of his lawyers, Olagbade Benson, on behalf of 12 others, was filed on Saturday, October 7th, and has 21 grounds of appeal. In the appeal, Rhodesviver says that the tribunal erred in law when it relied on the Court of Appeal's decision in the petition of Mr. Peter Gregory Obi and Anna versus INEC and Oz to strike out the evidence of all his subpoenaed witnesses. Rhodesviver also contended that the tribunal erred in law when it held that the burden of proof of the specific oath of allegiance subscribed to by the deputy governor as well as the evidence of his renounced citizenship rests on the appellant, and that exhibits placed before the tribunal on this issue were deemed abandoned. Other grounds of the petition touched on by the failure of the tribunal to disqualify Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and his deputy, having found that Dr. Bafemi Hamzat is a naturalized United States of America citizen who made a declaration of allegiance to that country, as well as the failure of the tribunal to strike out the final written address of both respondents, which was allegedly filed in contravention of the provisions of paragraphs 5A, 5C, and 5D of the Election Judicial Proceedings Practice Directions 2022. Staying in Lagos, at the coroner's inquest into the circumstances surrounding the cause of death of a 12-year-old student of Dowen College, Lekki, the mother of the student, Mrs. Rosemary Oromoni, has recounted his final moments. Mrs. Oromoni, who appeared visibly shaken, broke down in tears several times as she rained curses on her son's killers. She narrated how she received a message from the school that her son, Sylvester Oromoni Jr., was injured while playing football with some of his colleagues, but eventually found out from her son that he was beaten up by 5 other students of the school. She mentioned the names of 3 of the students. She said her son also said that the students gave him a substance to drink. The late Oromoni Jr. reportedly died on November 30th, 2021 at a private hospital in Warri, Delta State following health complications which allegedly occurred at his school, Dowen College in Lagos. The coroner, Magistrate Mikhail Kadri, has asked parties in the inquest to file their final written addresses, which will be adopted on November 20th this year. And we round off with a report that the Legal Practitioners Privileges Committee, the LPPC, has elevated 58 lawyers to the rank of Senior Advocates of Nigeria. The committee, headed by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, confirmed the appointment of the new SANs, which comprise of 57 legal practitioners and 1 from the academia. Prominent names on the list include legal luminary Afe Babalola's daughter, Folashade Ali, wife of human rights lawyer Fumi Falana, former Attorney General of Delta State, Isaiah Bozimo, EFCC lawyer Aaron Chike Okoroma, and former chairman of the Lagos branch of the NBA, Yemi Akangbe. A statement by the Chief Registrar of the Supreme Court and Secretary of the LPPC, Hajo Seriki Bello, said that the new SANs were appointed as a result of their excellence in the law profession and in adherence to the Code of Ethics of the profession. It further stated that the new senior advocates would on Monday, November the 27th, be inaugurated by the CJN at the Supreme Court complex.
And that's the program for today. If you missed any part of it, you can find it in past episodes on our YouTube channel. Do also give us feedback via any of our social media platforms. I'm Shola Shoyele. Thank you for watching and see you next week.